Hi guys and welcome to Buddy Review. I'm Buddy 1927. Today I'm reviewing a Walter Tanks tank, a premium tank called the Ram 2. It's a Tier 5 premium tank in the American line. Now, one thing interesting about this, Walter Tanks does not have a Canadian section. So they kind of lumped the Canadian tanks along with some of the American tanks and some of the British tanks. So anytime you see a tank that is named after an animal, it's usually a Canadian tank. And so before we get into the Walter Tanks version of the Ram 2, let's take a look at the real Ram. This tank was Ram. It was a cruiser tank designed and built in Canada during World War II. It was exclusively used as a training tank, and it never really saw combat as a gun tank. It started production in 1941. It was designed in 1941 and started production in 1941 by Canada and stayed in production until 1943, where a total of 2,000 of these tanks were actually produced. By doing this, it helped them train up their crews. Now, the specs on this tank, what I got is the tank weighed 65,000 pounds or 29 tons. The length of it was 19 feet long, 9 feet wide, and 8 foot 9 inches high. That's really a small tank, considering you had a crew of 5 in here, so quarters were kind of cramped down here. It came with a commander, a gunner, a loader, a driver, and a co-driver. Now what the co-driver would do would actually sit opposite of the driver, and his main job was to operate the gun that was attached in the hull of the tank, which is usually a machine gun. But in case the driver got injured or got killed during battle, he had another set of controls where he could actually control the tank himself. So now, the gun that was used on this was a QF 6-pounder Mark II. It held 92 rounds, and the top speed of this thing was 25 miles an hour or 40 kilometers per hour. So that's a little bit of history of the real tank. Let's take a look at the Walter Tanks version of it. Okay, this isn't a bad gun. If I really like the tank, I put this mark on it. It's called Skull and Helmet, and I named this tank Blackjack because I like to take this tank when I go to Las Vegas and drive around the strip and go play blackjack, so I named this tank Blackjack. So if you see me on the battlefield in this tank, you know I'm on my way to Las Vegas to win. Nah, just joking here. Now, I have a program I like using. It's called Tank Inspector, and the reason why I like using it, it color codes the tank and it shows the different versions of the tank itself. So let's pull that up, and as you can see, this is the Ram 2. Now, according to World Tanks, it has 76 millimeters of armor, but if you take a look at Tank Inspector, right now it says it has 106 millimeters of armor, and that's due to the angle. If you see this angle right here on the front here, the more your armor's angled, the better your tank is. So the thicker your armor is. So it's 76 with the angle. It's right now it says 108. Depends on where I'm aiming. Now the turn on this has 76 millimeters of armor also. Now you gotta be careful when driving this tank. You want to protect this lower glacis, or the underbelly of the tank. And the reason behind that is because look at this, you only got 51 millimeters of armor there. So if you're up against this, you want to shoot there, or you want to shoot here where you only have 65 millimeters of armor. So you need, as the driver of the tank, you need to protect those areas, and if you're hitting this tank on face on, that's where you need to hit face on. Now the side of this tank, you got to protect that hatch right there. It's only 51 millimeters of armor, but if you go off here, well, Walter Tank says it has 63 millimeters of armor, has 64, 63, depending on where you hit on here. But the hull itself has 76 millimeters of armor. Now the rear of the tank, it has 38 millimeters of armor in the rear of the hull, and on the turret it has 51 millimeters of armor. So this is why I like using Tank Inspector, and I will actually put the link of Tank Inspector. You can actually pull up the tech trees of any country that you want to look at and pull up their tanks. You can take a look at them as in this color coded so you can see the armor. Well, it's not updated because of the new patch of it, but it can also show the tank of it in its own right. So close that up. Next thing I like to do is actually go over the specs of this tank, and I'm going to turn this around so you can read the specs a little bit more clear. And I'm actually going to blow this up. By the way, this program is recorded by XSplit, and you see why, because I can do stuff like this. Okay, the hit points on this is 610 hit points. The weight on it is 27.93 to 31 tons. Horsepower on this is 440 horsepower. The max speed on this is 38 kilometers per hour. The traverse speed is 37 degrees per second. We went over the hull. We went over the turret armor. 56 to 94 average shell penetration. Average damage. Average shell penetration is 79 to 131. Rate of fire on this gun is 26.2 rounds per minute. Deterrent traverse speed is 38 degrees per second. The average view range on this is 330 meters, and the average signal range on the radio is 570 meters. So that's the tank itself. Those are the specs of the tank. I'll close that up for you. Now let's take a look at how this tank, this isn't a bad looking tank. Let's pull up the research on this tank, and as you can see, it is a premium tank. One thing about premium tanks, it does not come with the best guns, it doesn't come with the best armor. Premium tanks are actually designed in the game to help you earn more additional credits and also allow you to help accelerate your crew training or train your crews from other tanks in that line. So, since this is an American medium tank, I can take any tank from an American medium tank and put it in here without any penalties or having to change them to the RAM. I can keep them if I'm on if my crew's in my T20 is on here. I can keep my crew trained to the T20. I don't have to retrain them or anything. And what I can do with this is actually click this little box here, and we'll say accelerate crew training. So all the experience that the tank earns goes straight into the crew. It doesn't go into the reserve. If I don't have that checked off, I can actually put, this is experience that other tanks that I've played earn, and then I can convert all that experience by using gold into free experience. So that's something you want to take a look at. This tank isn't bad at all. Let's take a look at the gun at this tank, and I'll blow this up for you. This is why I use XSplits, guys. The gun on this is the gun that would be used on the Canadian version. It's a 57 caliber gun. It fires 26.2 rounds per second. Now the average penetration on this is 105 to 170, and the average damage is 75. Now the accuracy on this gun is not accurate at all. It's only 0.43 per 100 meters. So once you get used to this tank and how it fires and stuff like that, you can actually adjust your play a little bit and your aim a little bit to get a little bit more accurate. The aiming time on this is 2.3 seconds, and the weight of it is 450 kilograms. Now this gun is only available for this tank, the RAM 2, and that's it. Like I said, it does come with a co-driver. The driver would sit here. The co-driver will sit here and actually operate this gun here. Um, that's about the basics of this tank. I actually have this tank in action. So if you want, let's go to the battlefield and take a look at this tank in action. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, guys, we're in the Ram 2 Tier 5 medium premium tank in the American line. We're going to see how this tank performs in battle. Let's take a look as we're getting set up here. Let's take a look at the map. We're on Westfield. We have a 55% chance of surviving. I'm currently ranked 10th, and we're actually in a Tier 6 battle. So, I'm 10th. We have a 55% chance win rate on this thing. And we're in Tier 6, so we're in a tank. We're fighting against tanks that are at least one tier higher. There's a couple Tier 5s and a couple Tier 4s, but the majority of the tanks are Tier 6. So that's why we call this a Tier 6 battle. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And I like climbing up on this ridge and actually hiding behind here. Hit the line there. Okay. Back to normal speed. I want to show you all something real quick. I keep about 15 meters behind the bushes. So that way if I'm spotted, if I shoot, the bushes don't become opaque and I become visible. This helps hide my tank a little bit more. And as you can see, we got some tanks spotted, nothing in front of us yet. But we're looking and waiting for the tanks to happen. Now, it depends on where you're at. The battle lasts us 15 minutes, so you don't have to rush into everything right off the top. We do have a target.
Critical hit.
Miss.
Enemy armor is damaged.
And you can see the rate of fire on this.
Enemy is
I
hit.
did a blind shot, hoping maybe I might catch him and not realize it. Now, I do run XVM on this thing. With XVM, it tells me the shots that they've actually seen me make.
Enemy armor is
Right
damaged.
there, 72.
Enemy is hit.
Another 72.
Enemy armor
Another
is hit. Got him.
And yes, I got credit for that kill. Got another tank there. Yes, it spotted me because I'm behind the bushes and you can't see me. So I'm what he will call is an invisible tank.
Enemy armor is hit.
You can see the damage. Just take a look at the damage. Somebody else finished them off, and now I'm getting hit.
We've lost
So
the track.
I need to back up a little bit. I'll take a blind shot, see if I can scare them off a little bit. Ooh, I need to move.
We fixed the track.
Yeah, I'm
Get going.
actually down a lot here. I have 80 hit points left of this 610 hit points given to this tank. That's the guy who's firing at me. Now I got
Enemy armor is
a shot
damaged.
on him. Got another shot on him.
Enemy armor is
I mean,
damaged.
this gun has a good
Enemy is hit.
fast reload on it, and that's why I like this tank.
Enemy armor
And
is destroyed.
got kill number 2 there. So that's not bad at all. And we're going to move forward. The score is now 14-4. According to XVM, we've done 882 damage. We've had 2 kills. Now remember, guys, I'm ranked 10th overall on this thing, so that's not bad at all. And we're moving up, and we're going to see. Yeah, that's it. That's game, guys. So. Okay, guys, as you can see in this battle, we actually was a victory. I received tanker class, second class, received 35,388 credits, 1,880 research points. Of according to XVM, I shot a total of 22 times, 18 hits for a hit ratio of 81.2%. So that's not bad overall. I kind of screwed up when I did this, guys, and for some reason I do not have the team, but I do have the overall results on this tank. So let's take a look at those results. Like I said before, I fired 22 shots, had 18 direct hits, 16 penetration. I did 955 damage. I received 4 hits, 4 penetration. I was credited for spotting 1 vehicle. I damaged 4 vehicles and I killed 2. And damage assist to my tank was 185. Those, for some reason, it did not record my damage that I received. So that 955 damage I dealt went straight into what I dealt. Okay, like I said before, I received 35,388 after auto repair and vehicle after repairs to the vehicle and ammunition resupply. I made 31,928 credits. Now, I received a total of 904 research points with 45 free experience. It was first victory of the day, which was at this time times 2. So I received a total of 1,808 experience for that tank and 90 free experience. So as you can see, the RAM2 is a tough little tank and does do some damage on it. I've had another replay, and for some reason it wouldn't let me replay it, where I actually did over 1,500 damage on that tank. If you know how to play this tank and you got a good crew on this tank, this is a good tank. If you want to make some money, this is a good money maker tank. And if you're doing the American medium line, I do recommend that you go to World of Tanks gift shop and buy this tank, because it will help accelerate your crew and also get you the credits needed to buy your next tier tank. So I'd like to thank you for watching this review of the Ram 2. If y'all all have any comments, leave them down below. If you've got a tank that you want me to check out, leave it down below in the comments area. Now, don't forget to check out our sponsors, Freedom and Exploit. Y'all have a good day. Leave some tanks on the battlefield for me.